There is something deeply hilarious about British people in the sun. One tiny glimpse of warmth and suddenly everyone is outside drinking Aperol Spritz, sitting in traffic-facing pub gardens and acting like the UK is the south of Spain. But honestly, why does sunshine completely change our personalities in the UK? Today, we're going to be talking about the great British summer personality shift. But before we get into it, we'd really love your support. If you enjoy our podcast, please do follow us on Spotify. You can also find us on YouTube. Don't forget to hit that little notification bell so you never miss a Finest Friday.
Well, do you know what, Hayley? I think I fall within that category of typical Brits whenever the sun comes out. And I think it's something that we always say. As soon as the Brits get a little bit of sun, straight away, shorts are on, strappy tops are out, factor 50s on, get that barbecue in me, get that fruit cider in me. What about you?
Yeah, I'm very, very British in that regard. Yeah, I've been to 2 barbecues this weekend already and we've got another one today. So I think I fall into that category just perfectly.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I'm going to own it. I'm proud of that.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, absolutely should. Just to give some context to anybody who maybe isn't from England, we are having an absolute heat wave at the moment, which, to be fair, is not uncommon. We are now, about to go into June? So this is usually the point where we start to get our very typical British summer. And for some reason, we just had a really freezing cold week. And then we woke up one day and we got nearly 30-degree heat. And to anybody else around the world, they probably think, well, yeah, that's quite nice. That's a really nice summer. Whereas like a British summer, that's really hot. The roads start melting. But instinctively, everybody sees a little bit of blue sky. They see those 20-degree temperatures. And straight away, we're like, holy shit, we need to get the barbecue. Let's get to Tesco's right now. All of the blokes are there without their T-shirts on. People are wearing their flip-flops and it's just absolute carnage. Absolute carnage. All the supermarkets will suddenly switch around their stocks. So all of the summer things are like right at the entrance as well. And they'll be like, hey guys, we've got you covered. Here's your barbecues. Here's your summer stuff. Here's your swimming stuff. Here's everything. Go and have your summer. We've literally got approximately 3 days to go and make the most of this before the rain comes back again. Let's go, go, go. There's like no in between. It's 0 to 100 very, very quick.
It does. It almost becomes a sense of urgency, doesn't it, in England or in the UK, where because we know that it's not going to last and we don't get it very often, everything becomes so quick. And I don't know if you've ever had this, but I certainly feel this kind of sense of pressure, like I have to maximize the sun. So, for example, this week it's half term. So my kids are off school. I'm only working 3 days this week because it's bank holiday Monday. I don't work Fridays. But even then, I'm annoyed that I have to work for 3 days because that means that I'm going to be indoors and I'm not going to be enjoying the sun. And I think other people probably feel the same. It's like, why? Can't we just get given the days off when it's sunny? I feel like that needs to be a national rule, like a law, just because. Why not?
It should just be its own public holiday. Do you know what? The sun's out. We're just going to force a bank holiday Monday, bank holiday Tuesday, bank holiday Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Or alternatively, they already kind of have that, don't they? Like schools and people who work in schools, because that's your summer holidays. Maybe everyone just needs that and we just live off the land for the entirety of like 2 months until it rains and then we all want to go to work again.
Well, to be fair, knowing there's British weather, it could be really sunny in the morning and then rain by 1 o'clock.
It could all turn. We'll wake up tomorrow and it will be absolutely freezing cold. So we've had, I think it was Friday was really scorching hot. Saturday, really scorching hot. Yesterday was really, really hot. Today looks like it's going to be another belter. And then Tuesday will be snow. So
that was so extreme. I was not expecting that.
Like, isn't it? So it is, absolutely. You want to make the most of it. And I'm definitely guilty of being one of these people who will be at home. And if I know that it's nice outside, I cannot stay inside. I can't stay inside at the best of times anyway. But at least when it's raining and it's a bit cold, you kind of don't feel so guilty about maybe staying in, do some baking or watching Netflix or playing some video games. Whereas when it's sunny, it's like, I can't stay inside. What would people think? I need to be out there joining the chaos and getting myself to the beach and getting myself ice cream and having barbecues and seeing all my friends and all of that stuff. Actually, to be fair, my thing, which is also very stereotypical, and actually I have a little story about this. My thing is, as soon as there's a bit of warmth and the sun is out, it's got to be a fruit cider in a beer garden. That is my thing, as well as probably 50% of the British population. And I went out on a Saturday and I went paddleboarding, which is something that I like to do where rain, snow, sunshine, but especially sunshine. And I went to a little pub afterwards to go and get my fruit cider. I've just done my paddleboarding session and I'm going to go to the local village pub and I'm going to go get fruit cider. And when I walked in, I said to the gentleman behind the bar, I said, "What fruit ciders have you got available, pal?" And he just looked at me and he said, "Well, I've not really got much left, to be honest, because everybody's been coming in after fruit cider." And when you just kind of like, "No, really?" I was like, "What? Why? Why is everybody after fruit cider?" And then you kind of look at yourself and go like, "Oh, damn, I'm part of the problem." And I said to him, I said, "But it's just British culture, isn't it?" I said, "Everybody's got to come in and get fruit cider on a sunny day." So it's just, I think that's just my thing. And apparently most other people's thing. So it's either fruit cider in a beer garden, go to the beach, or barbecue, which I suppose is normal for sunny weather, really, isn't it?
I've done two out of three this weekend. So I went for a run on Friday and afterwards I was like, I really just want to go and sit in a beer garden. Went to a beer garden and I got a fruit cider. So tick. And barbecue, I have been to 2 barbecues this weekend already and we're doing another today. So again, tick. But you know what? I just think it's so, although it's a very British thing to do, I think it's also enjoyable. It's not that we just do it for the sake of it. It genuinely feels nice. I love that feeling of just sitting in a beer garden with a cider. I don't drink beer. So I don't like the idea of sitting and having a beer, but a really nice cold cider.
It's magnifique, isn't it? Magnifique. Yeah. No, exactly the same. And actually, it is a relatively normal thing to do in sunny weather. Like anybody, whether you're from England, whether you're from any other country, if you've got sunny weather, you're going to go and do sunny weather things, aren't you? But I think the hilarious thing about Brits in particular is it doesn't even need to be that warm. We just need to get any slight suggestion that we're going to get a little bit of sunshine. And it could be any part of the year, and we will still go get the disposable barbecues, and we're just going to whip it out, and we'll have everybody around in our back garden, and we're going to have a barbecue, and we'll be there with shorts and flip-flops and all sorts, because it just feels so rare. And I think because we're a relatively cold country in the grand scheme of things, I think whenever we get some really nice heat and some sunshine, we do go crazy. We absolutely lose our minds for it. We go absolutely crazy. But then what also happens, which is a very typical British thing, is we will spend the entire autumn, winter, almost spring period kind of being like, I'm so done. I'm so depressed with this cold weather, the dark weather. I want the longer days. I want the heat. I want to go out without my coat on. I want to wear my summer dresses. And I want to have beer gardens or barbecues. The moment you get any temperature that reaches past maybe 22 degrees, we fucking hate it. Can't think of anything worse. It's sticky. It's hot. I'm suffering. I've got a headache. I can't eat. I've lost my appetite. It's too hot. Bit too hot out there, innit? I'm melting. I'm sticking to the floor. I can't go in the sand. It's too hot. I was straight away just like, this is too hot now. This is too hot. We don't like this. We're not designed for British weather. And we start going on about the tarmac's melting on the roads because it's not designed to handle our British humid heat. And our houses are so insulated to protect us from the cold that it's also trapping heat inside. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, we've literally just spent 3/4 of the year wanting this weather. And now we're moaning about it. And I just think if you don't do that, then you're not a true Brit.
I was just going to say that, Abby, moaning is, I think, central to the British identity. And I fucking hate it. I do not like moaning unless it's with you. I like a little moan amongst friendship, amongst family. I think that's okay. Do you know what really gets to me when the sun starts to come out?
Okay. I think I know what it is. I think I know what it is.
Well, I don't think you'll guess. Go on, guess.
Men with their tops off.
No, I mean, that does annoy me as well. that does annoy me as well, especially when my 8-year-old the other day asked me, why do men all walk around without their top off when it's sunny and women can't do that? And I was like, wow, that's coming from an 8-year-old.
Fair question.
It was a really, really good question. But no, it's not that. The thing that really starts to annoy me are all the Facebook posts moaning about people that walk their dogs when the sun is out.
Ooh.
I don't know if you've seen them or whether because I'm a dog owner, things like this come up for me more. But my God, it's carnage. And it brings the worst out in people, Abby. My God. So I think it's kind of common knowledge. I'd like to think that it reaches a certain temperature and it can be unsafe to take your dogs out because the floor can become too hot and can hurt their little pads. And obviously the risk of things like heat stroke can increase. And the risk increases if the dog is bigger or if they have a health problem, et cetera, et cetera. But my goodness, you see people taking their dogs out at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, when the sun isn't at at its highest, when it's still kind of manageable. So it's warm, but it isn't too hot to take them out. Oh my God, you see people moaning about it on Facebook at that time in the morning, people being proper bitchy, calling other people names, making really big assumptions about a person's personality because they've taken a dog out for a walk. And I'm just like, it makes me, I don't have time for those people.
I mean, yeah, I can remember like when I was part of like Facebook groups, like when you live in certain areas and you have like a group that's for your particular estate or something like that. And I can remember there'd be things like that. It's like parking like a twat or something like that. If you park like a twat, you're going to get named and shamed all over Facebook, your little Facebook group thing, which is absolutely horrific. But yeah, I can remember things like that, like, to the idiot with the certain dog with the red jacket or whatever it was, taking the dog out this morning, you shouldn't be allowed to have a dog. You shouldn't be a dog owner. That's irresponsible. Blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. And if it was, if it was genuinely like at that point where it's gone later than that and it has gotten quite hot, or if it is like 9, 10 o'clock and it is actually really, really hot, then fair enough. Yeah. But also equally, if you saw that person taking the dog out at that time and you didn't agree with it, why don't you just go and talk to them? Why do you plaster it all over Facebook and hope that they're going to see it? And like everybody else can then shame them for it as well. You don't know their situation.
Exactly. That's the bit that bothers me. I have no issue with people wanting to protect animals, and absolutely, if it is too hot and a dog is at risk, I obviously would not encourage that. And we always make sure that our dog is taken out before the heat gets too intense. But it's this whole moaning on Facebook, and I'm like, that is so British. Come on, get a grip. Go and tell the person. But no, people just like to hide behind them keyboards, don't they?
Oh yeah, they absolutely do. There's another thing as well, like that the sunshine will definitely bring out some more types of moans as well. It will be either obviously noise complaints because people are having barbecues, or it will be like kids playing. And I remember I used to get this a lot on the estate that we used to live on, Hayley, on our like group page that we had. And there would be people constantly complaining about kids playing like football or something, and it'd be near their cars, or they'd be playing just in their own garden, but like the ball kept hitting the fence or something, and people would moan about that. And they'd be like, can you tell your kids not to do that? And the people commenting who also had their own kids would be like, what are you wanting them to do? Like, just stay inside and play on their iPads. It's a sunny day. They want to go and play football with their friends. Unfortunately, it's going to hit the fence a couple of times. And surely we should be encouraging children to be going outside and doing all this stuff, because like we're always screaming out saying like, they don't really engage with nature or anything that much anymore. Like, so if kids are out there climbing trees, just like we used to do when we were kids, and people before us used to do, we should be encouraging it, not like getting behind a keyboard and being like, can the person at number blah, 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 please tell their kids to play their games a little quieter because my baby's trying to have a nap.
Yes, completely agree. It drives me up the wall. But great British moaners, hey. I think we'd probably win the World Cup if there were a moaning contest.
We definitely would. We absolutely would. It's well known, Brits love to moan. And that is probably why we spend all of this time moaning about the cold, moaning about the dark nights and the fact that you get up to work and it's dark and you come home from work and it's dark. The moment that changes, which is just such a brief time of the year for us Brits, we've just got to moan about that as well. Now it's too hot and now it's too bright and I can't get my kids to sleep because the sun's still up at 10 o'clock at night. And it's just like, oh my God, just stop. Just stop. Or like, I don't know, people like moaning because things have sold out in the shops or something because people have gone crazy for disposable barbecues. And now I can't find a disposable barbecue because everybody's flocked to Tesco's and Morrison's and Asda and Lidl and Aldi, and they've just taken all of them. And now I can't have a barbecue because everyone else has stolen them. And it's just, you've just got to moan about everything. You're not a true Brit if you don't moan about British summer, but also love the British summer at the same time a bit too much, but then also hate it.
Well, we are proper Brits then because we're moaning about the moaners. So we fall into the category of moaning, which makes us Brits. So,
I mean, I did say at the very beginning, I am a true Brit. I am the definition of one of these people because I also will moan about the heat. I went out yesterday to go and do a food shop, and me and my friend were going to go, and we tried to wait until a little bit later in the day when the crowds would have died down. Everyone's kind of flocked to the shops and got all of their bits for summer that they needed and got their ice creams and their lollipops. And so we decided to do our food shop kind of towards the end, about 3:30 before the shops closed at 4. And it was so incredibly hot that we were texting each other when we were just trying to get changed into something a bit more cooler. And I remember putting my hair into a braid, and I'd got about halfway down and I just stopped because I had sweat coming down my back just from doing a braid. And I was texting my friend moaning about it, being like, Stuart, can't even bloody put braid in my hair because I'm fucking sweating. I was like, I could feel 2 drips racing down my back because I just tried to do my hair. And she's like, I'm just so on this flat. I can't even get cooled down. I'm just here with the fridge like flapping the air at me. And I'm just like, I don't even know if I want to go to a food shop. It's too hot to go outside. And honestly, it was absolutely ridiculous, this little session. We did go and do our food shop, and ultimately it ended up being the coolest place, I think, on earth at this particular period of time, because I just went up like the frozen aisle and we were just there for about an hour in Aldi because we didn't want to go out into the heat. And then we were like feeling quite content and we were feeling quite positive. So when we were cooled down and we were loving life in Aldi, I was like, do you know what? I really feel like going to a beer garden. I'd quite like to go to a beer garden. She's like, yeah, actually, let's go to a beer garden. Let's just go and have a cider in a beer garden. So I was like, all right, let's go put the stuff in the car. As soon as we walked outside and we got that face full of humidity and heat and we walked to the car, I said to her, I don't know if I want to go to a beer garden. It's a bit too hot, isn't it? It was absolutely ridiculous. But what we did end up doing in the end was we decided to go put our shopping away just before people are just like, well, what happened to your frozen food? We put our shopping away. And then we drove up to a local river and we went and did some wild swimming and we had a cider by the river. And it was bloody marvellous. And suddenly we're full of good spirits again. And we were like, do you know what? I bloody love this. I love British summer. I love this heat. Isn't this so lovely? Forgetting that we just spent the last like 2 hours moaning about it because we couldn't even put our hair in a freaking plait. So I am the definition of a Brit.
I love that you went swimming, though. That's something that we talked about doing today, potentially. My eldest is going to a country park that's got a big lake and they're going to go do some wild swimming. And I'm like, oh, that sounds really nice. So I might go and join them later on to do that. Yeah, absolutely. I do love a beer garden, but it has to be with shade or a little bit later on when the sun has come down a little bit. But I guess on the topic of beer gardens, for those that know us Brits, you probably know that we have a bit of a drinking problem. We're a little bit alcoholic as Brits. Would you agree, Abby?
No. I don't, what? No. I mean, like the most soberest people you've ever met.
Yeah. We do. We have a bit of a drinking problem. There's quite a big drinking culture here in the UK, and I don't know where that stems from. But I'm gonna guess it. That's where I was going. So I don't think it really matters what time of the year it is. People in this country are never happy. We are moaners. There's always a problem. We take everything for granted. Like the Brits don't know how good they actually have it, to be honest with you. And I'm going to put you into this.
Oh gosh, this could be anything.
No, but genuinely, right? So in the winter, yeah, the winter's really shit and it's cold and it's dark and you have, it's dark when you leave the house. It's dark when you come back to the house after work. It is really, really horrendous. And seasonal affective disorder, so SAD, is real. And that's essentially where your mood is impacted or massively influenced by the seasons, right? The time of the year, and a lack of sunlight, a lack of being outdoors, connecting with nature, etc., can massively impact your serotonin and dopamine and all these other wonderful things that go around in your brain to help you feel good. So I'm going to guess that in the winter, people probably drink because they are depressed. So I'm going to agree with you there. Then we get to like spring and it starts to get a little bit nicer. The lambs have been born, the flowers are growing. It's really pretty and beautiful. And what do people do? We celebrate by drinking. Then the summer comes, and because it's sunny, people want to be in the beer gardens and have barbecues, so everybody's getting wasted. Mm-hmm. And then autumn comes round, and it's, it's kind of like the summer's ending, but it's still not too cold, it's not too warm. What do people do? They just still drink. But I feel like the summer, I feel like there's more pressure to drink. So I feel like we have a massive drinking culture anyway, but as soon as the sun comes out, it is very much beer garden, cider, beer. Even if it's going to the shop and buying cans of beer to have at the park with your friends, it's just so intense.
I agree. Yeah, there is a massive drinking culture in Britain. And you're absolutely right. We will find any reason that we can to drink. However, I don't think that's exclusive to Britain. I think humans will just use any excuse to drink, probably. I do think, though, something we do need to consider is that in England, the UK, we are very well known for a pub. And I don't know. I mean, don't quote me on this, everybody. Don't come for me. This is not fact, but this is all I've heard, is I'm pretty sure we're like one of the only countries that actually have like a pub. Got to get to a pub. One of those proper like British pubs, and we have them everywhere, dotted everywhere. People come over to visit, like say from America, and they want to go and try a pub because they want to see what all the fuss is about. Go and have a pint in the pub. I don't know why I'm Yorkshire. We have them everywhere. It's not just Yorkshire. I think So that in itself then creates this idea of why maybe we love the idea of a beer garden, because we have the pub culture. So we love going to the pub all year round. It's just in the summer we like to sit outside because it's sunny. So then we will flock to the beer garden. And I think that's probably why it's quite a British thing, mainly linked to the fact that we have a pub. And so everyone just flocks to them. And that's why we look like we drink so much, because we have pubs and everyone loves a pub. Every Brit loves a pub. Brilliant places. And then obviously, summer is then beer garden, because there's a beer garden in the back of a pub.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you in terms of we're not the only country that drink, and we're definitely not the country that drinks the most if we're talking about, in terms of quantity of alcohol. However, I've looked into this before and I'm pretty sure it's probably still accurate.
Ooh.
We do have, as you've said, pub culture is huge in England, UK. And of course, when the sun comes out, that increases the opportunities for people to be in the pub. Do you know what we are known for when it comes to drinking in compared to other countries?
Getting blackout drunk.
Known for binge drinking and emotionally driven drinking as well. Whereas a lot of, if we think about she would never. If we think about European, a lot, not all of them, but a lot of European or Mediterranean countries, yes, they drink a lot, but it's woven into their culture through meal times, family times, etc. It's less likely for people on a Saturday afternoon to just say, let's go down to the pub and get wasted. Whereas that's a very British thing for us to do, is go down to the pub to get wasted. Right.
Yeah.
So do you see the difference? And that's because I don't really drink and I'm not really into all of that. I really don't like that side of the British culture. I'm kind of like, what a waste of an afternoon. And then you lose a whole day because you're hungover. And I just couldn't think of anything worse. But a lot of people love it. So no judgment.
I'm definitely guilty of doing that. And I definitely think the summer is definitely a culprit in making that worse. Like, because I just think about like my life, and like my drinking is much less now. I remember we did an episode where we were joking about me being an alcoholic, but we weren't joking. We were just, oh yeah, because you're like an alcoholic. And I'm like, I actually am. So I'm actually like, my drinking has gone down like considerably now. But I would be one of those people where, like, if I didn't have anything to do and it was like a Friday night or a Saturday night and I wanted to maybe just link up with friends, the go-to would always be, let's all go get trolleyed. Let's all go get trolleyed. Saturdays, especially if it's a summer day, we're going to go get a bus down into the city. And we're going to go to some day drinking, and we're going to sit in beer gardens, and we're going to get trolleyed, and we'll get the last bus home. So we're still in bed by like 11:30. And it's like, that in itself is such an exciting concept. And we all want to do that. And we want to go and get drunk with our friends in the sunshine. And we know full well we're going to be written off the next day. But like, we don't think about that. We think about the actual activity. It's almost like someone being like, shall we go to the cinema? Or shall we go play a round of golf? Shall we go and get a bus into the city and get blackout drunk and absolutely hate our life the next day? But like, yeah, let's do that. That sounds well fun. Let's do it. And I think summer is definitely, probably a more likely time for people to do that. Because things are open. Things are open. And you've also got other people that are out enjoying yourself. What have I always said about spoons? Also, I've got a spoons where I live, and it's always in the summer, it's always, should we go spoons? Spoons beer garden? Spoons beer garden? Yeah, let's go spoons beer garden. The thing about spoons, I've always said, I don't exactly go to spoons because I like the fact that there's sticky floors, and I like the fact that there's leftover food all over the table. Like, that's not why I like spoons. I like spoons because of the atmosphere. You go into spoons, you know what you get, and you've got a load of other people that are there just to have a jolly good time as well, who also love a spoons. And so, a glass smashes behind the bar, you've got the whole freaking restaurant going, whoa, like they all do. And it's just brilliant. It's just absolutely brilliant. So you've got the atmosphere as well of all other people who are also going out, wanting to enjoy the sunshine and wanting to drink. And you just feel less alone.
Yeah.
Hayley's like, can't relate.
No, I really don't relate. And I can't believe that you just used the word brilliant to describe your experience of being in spoons, surrounded by people who also want to get trolleyed, who go, hey, when a glass breaks behind the bar. Very disappointed in you.
It's just spoons culture. She's like, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
So disappointed. Yeah.
I don't know. I think for me, a lot of like my good memories have been like in a spoons beer garden, and other people are just getting like, not like rowdy, but they're getting a little bit rowdier, and everyone just bounces off each other, and then you start like talking to different people as well, and people are quite chatty, and I don't know, it's just always been a good time, to be honest with you. Always been a good time. Good time. And plus it's cheap. Spoons is cheap, everybody. So, and you don't have to like interact with bar staff because you could just order to your table, which is probably lethal actually, because I end up ordering like 5 drinks at a time. Whereas like they would judge you if you went up to the bar to do that.
Very true. Yeah, I'm still not buying it though. Do you know what I find most amusing though is after we've had a few days of sun, what are the consequences of that?
Sunburn.
Yes, absolutely. I find it very amusing because after you've had a couple of days of sun, you walk around. I don't know if you've ever done it, Abby, but next time do it. Just observe the people that you are walking around. The amount of pink and red that you are going to see, your eyes are going to be burning. Honestly.
But it's like the drumstick society, the drumstick lolly society. And I get burnt really easy. In case people haven't noticed, I am pale as anything. So I have to wear factor 50. Like I have to put it on so many times across the day. Otherwise I'll burn really easy. So I'm actually really pleasantly surprised. I'm doing okay at the moment. So get your factor 50 on, guys. But it's also really nice to get a little bit sunburn and you see other people with a little bit of sunburn, even when the weather goes trash again, because it inevitably will. But to have that memory, we've got that memory. We all know we had sunshine. We've got the proof to prove it. We had sunshine. Look at this burn. We had some sun, and everybody's all there living the same shared experience of, stinging in the shower for days after. It's just another little reminder of, hey, the sunshine was here. It was here and it stayed with us as a little lasting memory for about 4 days.
And then also when people start comparing their tan lines, like, look at my tan line. Oh, have you got one? And people taking off their watches or where they've had like a bobble around their wrist or like pulling down their trousers so you can see their underwear line. And I'm just like, oh my God.
I would love to be able to partake in that, but unfortunately I don't tan. So shout out to all the pale girlies out there who've got a tinge of the ginge, who just burn, peel, and there's fresh white flesh underneath. And it's just like, oh. And actually the good thing about me is, I don't know if you can see it on camera, I've got freckles and they're all starting to come out a little bit. You see them? Woo!
Oh my God, yes.
Oh my God, look at that. She's so tanned. That is my tan, everybody. This is my tan. These will get really big and they will inflate and grow in size. And then that will give the impression that I've got a tan. And do you know what? I can work with that. But I will not get a normal natural all over tan. It just doesn't work. So if everyone starts comparing, like, oh my God, look at my like sleeve line, blah, 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 I'd be like, you guys can go and fuck yourselves.
Whereas I do tan, but I don't tan because I avoid the sun. So if I went in the sun, I tan quite nicely. But I had this experience when I lived in the north of Spain where I fell asleep on the beach for a few hours whilst it was really, really hot. Yeah. It was really bad, to the point where I blistered all over my legs and my back, and I could not stand up without my husband supporting me. I could not sit on the toilet without support. It was the most agonizing pain I think I've ever experienced. I probably should have gone to hospital looking back. I don't know why I didn't, to be honest. But yes, it was brutal. And ever since then, my husband warned me. He was like, don't do that, Hayley. I was doing a very typical British thing where I was in northern Spain, and he was like, don't do that, Hayley. You're going to fall asleep. I'm going to be in the water with our eldest, who was little at the time. Don't do it. I'm warning you. Let me put sun cream on. No, it's fine, Manuel. I'll be fine. And yes, I massively paid for it. So ever since then, I'm a stay in the shade kind of person. I'll sit in the sun for like 5-10 minutes, or if I'm wearing a hat and lots of sun cream, I'll go for a walk in it, and I'm happy to sit in it for a while. But I have this extreme paranoia that I'm going to go back to that level of pain. It was awful.
I mean, it's good though. I think like choosing to sit in the shade and wear hats and things, that is the best thing that you can do when there's sun. Like there is no kidding that the sun is terrible for us. It ages us. It's the cause of a lot of different types of cancers. It is great in moderation, but we still need to protect ourselves from it. So you'll get people that will say like, but we need the sun to survive, so why do we need to protect ourselves from it? It's like, because it's still too fucking hot. Its rays are really strong, especially particular times of the year when we're slightly closer towards the sun. We need to be protecting ourselves from it as much as possible. So sitting in the shade is really, really good. So ultimately, because I'm a bit of a sunflower and I will chase the sun, even though the sun doesn't like my skin and I will burn easy, ultimately, I'm probably going to look about 70 years old in another 10 years time, whereas you'll probably still look like a baby. And then you'll be like, ha, ha, ha. Now who's laughing? Because I decided to sit in the shade and wear a hat. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing that you're doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
I think another thing as well about the British summer, which is like a universal thing for everybody, is night times when we're trying to sleep. So like at the moment, I've got my fan on in my room. I angle it out like with the open window, and sometimes I have to get a frozen bottle and put it in a bowl near the fan so it blows cold air at me. But you're just there like this fat marshmallow that's just sticking to your sheets on your bed with no duvet on, because fuck me, you can't have anything. Nothing can touch it. If you've got even got like a partner with you laying in bed, if they've been dead, like even if the little hair from their legs touches you, it's fuck off. Don't fucking touch me. Because it's so hot and there is nothing you can do to cool down, because we are not designed for this heat. Our rooms do not have built-in air conditioning unless you're rich as fuck. We literally, if we have our windows open, it's just warm air that's coming back in. It's like, do we have the windows open? Do we have them closed? I don't fucking know what to do. We've got fans blowing at us at all sorts of places. We're sticking to ourselves. We have to have our legs wide open, flaps wide open. We have to lift our tits up to wipe the sweat from underneath. So as much as we love the sunshine, night times is hell on earth. Hell on earth.
I actually think that fans sell quicker than barbecues when the sun comes out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, we had this, I think it was last year, where we needed to buy a fan and everywhere they were sold out. Everywhere. We had to order it online and wait for like 5 days. And I'm like, but I don't fucking need the fan in 5 days. It's going to be winter again in 5 days. I need the fan now. Nope. So if you ever come to England, if you ever move here, I highly recommend you buy yourself a fan, even if you don't need it, even if you only need it for 3 days of the year. Get one.
Yeah, I've had my fan for so many years because I just know it literally gathers dust. When I say literally gathers dust, I have to wipe it down. It's so dusty whenever I get it out of the wardrobe, because you're absolutely right. I probably only use it maybe for like 1 month out of the entire year. And then I put it away, because I know for a fact if I get rid of this, that would be such a silly decision. It's like people who choose to get rid of their Christmas tree because they can't be bothered to pack it down and put it in the loft. And they think, I don't need to worry about this until like another year. And then it comes around really quickly and you think, why the fuck did I get rid of that Christmas tree? Now I need to go out and buy one and I can't find one anywhere. That's literally the same with the fans. They usually stack them like in British supermarkets. They usually have like a bit of like an outside area veranda thing before you go into the main entrance, and they'll put their best selling stuff at the front. In winter, it'll be de-icer everywhere. And the summer, it's disposable barbecues and fans. And you'll rush and you'll be like, oh, I saw them in Tesco's the other day. Let's go, quickly go get a fan. They're nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen. They're stripped off the shelves because everybody's gone and got a fan, because we've all got the same problem, that we're just becoming a sticky little Play-Doh mess in our houses because we cannot tolerate the heat because we're pathetic. It's awful, but we love it, and we'll still go to the beer garden, but we'll hate every bit of it, but we'll still go get our cider in the gun.
And then we'll moan about being sunburnt the next day, but then we're still going to do the same thing again the following weekend if the sun comes out. We never learn, never happy.
Yep.
Welcome to British culture.
Yep, exactly. That is literally being the life of a Brit. It's like that video from the In-Betweeners. I hope people get the reference. Hayley probably doesn't. The In-Betweeners, where they first get off the plane in Spain and they're just there like, it's hot. That's well hot. It's a bit too hot, isn't it?
I'm hot.
It is well hot.
Might be too hot.
Might be.
And it's just that's just Brits. That is literally Brits whenever they get a bit of heat. Literally. Anyway.
Run over.
I'm saying all of this from a place of being a Brit myself. I'm like, being a Brit is hard, guys. I'm joking. Shall we see what all the fuss is about and ask our lovely friend Bob, who doesn't identify as a Brit, so I'll be very intrigued to find out what Bob has to say about why the hell we're so pathetic. Okay, so my question for Bob today is, why do us Brits go crazy for the sunshine, but at the same time suffer in the heat and absolutely cannot handle the burn? And chat has said, because Brits treat sunshine like a rare Pokémon encounter. Oh my God, you can tell it's my Bob. Because Brits treat sunshine like a rare Pokémon encounter. The second the temperature hits 19 degrees, the entire country collectively loses its mind. That is very true. A single ray of sunshine appears and suddenly every pub garden is full within 11 minutes. That's what we said. Someone's uncle is mowing the lawn shirtless with a Stella. That is so true. That's
so true.
Everyone in my neighbourhood. Supermarkets are stripped bare of burger buns. And Cheryl from Croydon is lying in a bikini in a park saying, oh, I'm roasting, while slowly turning the colour of a ripe tomato. This is hilarious.
So accurate.
Brits don't expect experience sunshine. We panic buy it emotionally. See, the UK climate has trained us like confused little Victorian mushrooms. We spend 10 months a year under grey skies, wearing waterproofs and apologising to furniture we bump into. Our bodies are biologically calibrated for mild drizzle with emotional damage. So when actual heat arrives, we react with the dignity of a Labrador seeing snow for the first time. And the reason we can't handle the burn is because we insist on approaching sunlight with pure delusion. Nah, I'll be fine. It's only 24 degrees. Meanwhile, that's basically surface of the sun conditions for someone whose skin hasn't seen UV since the Jubilee. Oh my God, this is hilarious.
That was great.
Is absolutely hilarious. But basically what they're saying, what it's basically saying is that we panic buy the sunshine. We go too crazy. We don't think about the consequences and we don't plan out how to handle the heat. And we're just not built for the heat. That was such a story. I loved every bit of that.
So sassy as well. I love your Bob. My Bob would have just given me a really boring answer. So I think I need to retrain. I need to retrain mine to be more like you.
So I said that our ChatGPTs tend to become a little bit more like us. They know our personalities. So I think that's just me coming through as an AI. So, hey, do you know what? If anyone wants to have me as their AI, I think that'd be pretty fun. So there we have it. That's a little bit of an insight into why Brits go absolutely crazy. And I'm hoping to any Brits who have maybe made it this far listening to this, you are also in agreement and thinking, yep, that's me. Or you're the uncle that's there topless mowing the lawn right there with a can of Stella in your hand going, shit, I feel seen. But, enjoy the sun as much as we jest. We love the sun. Enjoy it. Go out and make the most of it. But just wear your sun cream, do a Hayley, wear your hats, maybe go in the shade sometimes. And do you know what? There is no judgments if you want to get blackout drunk in the back of a beer garden, cheering when you hear somebody smash a glass in bloody spoons.